Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. Today we're going to get into the root cause of why things are going on during this COVID-19 pandemic. What is causing people to lose their minds, and what's the root to where man has lost his way, to where such evil acts can come up from a crisis such as this, when you think that when we're in a crisis, people would seek for answers and be on their best behavior. But actually we're seeing the opposite of where people are chaotic and they're losing their minds. I want to play something for you all from a Dr. Erickson dealing with this very topic, this very subject, because it just don't make any sense. Not at all. It's actually ridiculous. And when I be honest with you guys, when I first heard it, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
As a result of the shutdown and millions of hardworking people losing their jobs.
Child molestation is increasing at a severe rate. We could go over multiple cases of children who have been molested due to angry family members who are intoxicated, who are home, who have no paycheck. These things last a lifetime. This isn't about a seasonal flu. These are things that will follow these people and affect them in a negative fashion for their life. And these are for me talking to ERs, talking to my doctors, and talking to people across the country and finding out what they're seeing. Spousal abuse, alcoholism, anxiety, depression, suicide.
One of the most interesting moments of the press conference was when Dr. Erickson went on to explain the immune complex and how our immune system regularly adapts to our environment.
The immune system is built by exposure to antigens, viruses, bacteria. When you're a little child crawling on the ground, putting stuff in your mouth, viruses and bacteria come in, you form an antigen-antibody complex, you form IgG, IgM. This is how your immune system is built. When you take human beings and you say, go into your house, clean all your counters, Lysol them down. You're going to kill 99% of viruses and bacteria. Wear a mask. Don't go outside. What does that do to our immune system? Our immune system is used to touching. We share bacteria, staphylococcal, streptococcal bacteria, viruses. We develop an immune response daily to this stuff. When you take that away from me, my immune system drops. As I shelter in place, my immune system drops. You keep me there for months, it drops more. Sheltering in place decreases your immune system. And then as we all come out of shelter in place with a lower immune system and start trading viruses and bacteria, what do you think is going to happen? Disease is going to spike. And then you've got disease spike amongst the hospital system with furloughed doctors and nurses.
Dr. Erickson reported that he has been in contact with leading physicians throughout California, and that they are all in agreement.
And I've been working with some of the leaders, and I've talked to, the head of the CDPH. I've gotten their opinion on this, and a lot of the leaders in Sacramento. And we're all in agreement. But we need to have Governor Newsom in agreement with us to lift this ban, because the data is showing us it's time to lift. So if we don't lift, what is the reason?
For Infowars.com, this is Greg Reese.
That was on Infowars, and you can go check that out, the interview they did or the coverage they did with Dr. Erickson on Infowars. I want to play that for you all because you're hearing so many different theories about this coronavirus. Some say shelter in place to stop the rise of death in America and among Americans. Some are saying, no, go out so your body and your immune system can build up itself, measure itself up against these viruses. Then you look for answers coming from the White House, and they're like, we don't know. It's silence. It's crickets up there. So what do? So we're going to bring Marcus Muhd on the phone. So we got Brother Marcus Muhd on the phone, and that's Marcus Muhd, owner of A-Tone Productions, the editor, the director, movie writer, and a well-capable guest to tackle this subject, and also a study of theology. Brother Marcus Muhd, welcome to the show.
Peace. What's up going on, brother?
Oh, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir, man. Glad to have you on, bro, because, look, we're gonna stay on this. See, I wanted to introduce this topic starting next week, but we're gonna start today because we in the present time. So it's the situation and the topic is perfect for what's going on, so we can help people understand. Because we had prophets, and they say Jesus died on the cross for the sins of man, right? But man is still sinning. That hasn't stopped. So we're gonna y'all strap up and bear with us, because we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna work our way to the present, and we'll give y'all a glimpse into the future. We're gonna do all of this on this show called Verbal Pick Radio, right? Now check this out, Brother Marcus. In the beginning was the Word, right? And the Word was with God, right? Now that leads me to believe that Word, that when the Creator created Himself out of that triple darkness, there was no language, but there was sound. There was a vibrational pitch. That sound was there with the Creator at the same time, right? So the Word was with God. So that sound and that vibrational pitch, along with thought, produces a material substance or something that you can touch, that we all capable of doing, especially the original man and woman, capable of doing till this day, because as a man thinketh, so is he. Why? When you learn how to use the elements, you learn how to use sound and the vibration, where the vibration produces sound, and then you're able to say be, and it is. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that means then that Word was then that Word became flesh, and then that same Word was taught to the beings that the Creator created, and the Creator gave mankind, sort of like you said the last show, like an instruction manual. Right? Now, the question I have is, where did because we all know the story of Iblis, or Satan, the disagreeable. But where did the notion or the ideal to disagree come from? Did it come from a low vibratory pitch? Did we have highs and lows, or how did that mindset enter into the planet?
It came in with the original God. There's a duality. When He created Himself, when He created the universe, He created a duality at the same time. And things were imperfect. It had to be perfected, just like a fetus or an embryo. It's not a fully developed human being until it's come to birth and it's grown into a human being or an adult. And then from an adult, you have to continue to acquire knowledge and skills to fulfill your purpose in life. So you're still not done when you become an adult. So it's that duality that it takes for you to go into a thing and sometimes struggle with it, process it, work with it, develop it in order to master it. And then you have a complete, perfect creation.
Profound. So out of that imperfection, out of imperfection came an expression of the imperfection. The imperfection expressed itself.
Exactly. Fully manifest 6,000 years ago. in the form of a human being or mankind, a type of human being. And yeah, he had to develop his own world. And he had to use instructions. He had to be stood up out of the cave, and he had to go to work in order to perfect this imperfect world. In this sense, the world that's contrary to the creator, the originator, to righteousness, to good. He had to perfect that imperfect world. Now, he had a certain amount of time to do it. Yes, sir.
Now, after the 6,000 years was up of his world, and say, okay, we'll give you another 100 years to get things right, of mercy, to get things right. So when the creator decides to put things back in order, people won't say, oh, well, you're unjust. Why are you, as it states in the Bible, why are you rebuking me before time? When it's not time, it's not before time, it's on time.
Right.
Okay. Yes, sir. No, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to add that the people that he's going to be replacing his world with have to learn how to take the wheel in the process. In the meantime.
Right, but see, that's the thing. Now we moving forward into the present, right? That's the thing, because the people who should be ready to take the wheel are not verbally showing their dissatisfaction with the actions of the present time.
You're right. So, yeah, we can blame this individual and that system, but apparently we're not 100% dissatisfied with it, because that's what brings about the change.
So that means then that it's not about color, because now out of that imperfect world, that mindset has encompassed our colors.
It has.
Okay, so now is a separation. So now you have one language. We have two languages. One language is freedom, justice, and equality. Then you have another language which is dis-ease, chaos, and lies.
Right. And so this new people that's supposed to be taking the wheel, they become accustomed to the chaos. They become adapted to it, and to such a degree that they are willing to run for office in it and try to further this system, as long as they get a place, even at the cost of the brother and sister of the people that's supposed to take the wheel. Okay, yeah. So we got that element going on.
So
but it's not a mindset that we are traditionally of. We're not made of that. That's not our nature. It's a grafted mindset. Whereas these other people over here were made with the mindset, and it's their nature, is of them. So who was more wrong? The snake that bites, or the damn fool that's standing there and let the snake bite him?
So, wow, this is such a heavy subject, because I can go back to Spain, right? When the Moors got defeated in Grenada, in Spain, and when the Queen Elizabeth wanted the Moors and the Jews out of Spain and commissioned Cristobal Colon, whatever term name we know, we talk Christopher Columbus, 1492 sailor Ocean Blue coming to the Americas.
Right.
But prior to that, what caused the Moors' downfall was not the Spanish army. It was the Moors entering into a relationship with the European women, fathering children, and then those children sided with the European fathers and overthrew the black fathers. But why? Because I believe, and I could be wrong about this too though, because I believe that the Moors started eating food or eating the wrong foods, meaning that they started going into the custom of the European way, and they lost their way. We can go back to Babylon. We can go back to Rome. We can go back to Greece. How Greece and Rome felt like when Augustus stood up and said, how many of them, and he had a town hall meeting, and he was like, how many of you all are married? How many of you all are, heterosexuals in a sense, right? And a lot of them wasn't really raising their hand. They was like, because they was so busy freaking and partying, and he told them this would be the downfall of Rome. Because the moral character and the moral fiber was lost. So it's showing that, now, do you believe that we are the modern day Rome and the modern day Babylon, that now we picked up the same ways and we headed down the same path as Babylon, Rome, Greece, and the other great societies that fell?
Yes, this is modern day Babylon, modern day Egypt. This is it. This is the fulfillment of those historic events. Those were just the signs of what we're living through today. And what's funny is when democracy was created by Cromwell, in the Commonwealth movement, King Charles was found guilty of treason after they were toppled, and he was hung the next year.
Mm.
Yeah, the King of England.
They hung him.
Yeah, they hung him for treason. Tried him and hung him for treason. That's the birth of democracy. So if we think we're going to get free democracy or free freedom, it's not going to happen. This guy ran through England and got the Irish and Poland too.
Mm.
A lot of people mad, a lot of people happy, but we all got democracy.
Do we have democracy now?
Well, I said, right.
But,
we have it, but we're not doing nothing with it.
Right. So this is not rule of the people by the people. This system, this government.
Right. I mean, I got a skateboard, but it's hanging up in the garage. So what's the use?
Wow. But is it because the people have been dumbed down, or the people, or greed, or everybody chasing that greed?
Well, it's a mixture of people being dumbed down and people enjoying the fruits of their former father's labor so much that they don't even know how to maintain it. Right. It's all about enjoying the spoils. Right.
They're not adding on top of the spoils. They just they squandering through what was already made.
Right. And so King Charles' son, King Charles II, came along and took England back. Just like that. Dug Cromwell up out the grave, him and two of his generals, tried his dead body, found his dead body and his general's dead bodies guilty, and hung their dead bodies.
What? Damn.
So, this the fulfillment, we just giving it up. gonna come get it back. You know, autocrats would not stop. They will not give up. They will not give it over. They will not give in. Mm-hmm. They got a mind. They got a focus, and they throwing everything they got in what they're trying to accomplish. I.e., New World Order, or One World Order, Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. These people intend on enslaving the planet, and they're using America and Americans to do it. We got the most coronavirus cases and the most deaths. We pay the most to WHO. The CDC is here. Fauci is calling the shots, which he's not even supposed to be speaking beyond the laboratory, but he is in front of the television.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere. I forgot the young lady's name, but she was saying Fauci was stealing her work, and she went to the FBI to have him investigated. They were investigating him for corruption, but somehow Eric Holder and Comey stopped the investigation.
Right.
And so, I'm about to say, and so it's been a lot of things coming out about Fauci. Almost as though he's like the dude on Pinky and the Brain. You know, he want to take over the planet.
He that dude. Well, he's the face of it. One of the faces of it.
So
that, go ahead.
No. So that means then, because I played part of Dr. Erickson's interview he did with InfoWars that you sent me, and he was stating that now, since people have lost their jobs and they're at home readily, the cases of pedophilia has risen to numbers you wouldn't even believe. And all the just what's taking place behind this, is that a sign of the mindset of the people, that sign that of society, to where you at home, you lost a job and you taking it out on children, and you hear a lot of gay men say that, and women say that what started them down that path is them being molested at a younger age.
Right.
So with all these cases now, during this COVID-19 of that from regarding the Dr. Erickson's report, and we specifically going off of Dr. Erickson's report, with all of these cases that's going on, it's almost as like, and when the scripture states that this become a habitat for every foul bird, a cage for every foul and filthy bird, it almost seems like the spirit that we having it now. You got, it's like you got Sodom and Gomorrah here. You got every sin has its own realm that it's functioning out of. Right here, it's like everything just coming out the bag, when you think that people would be afraid of pandemics that's going on, to where they say, look, we got to get ourselves together. This is a sign to straighten up.
So when that's not their nature,
right?
they just went back home,
Right.
We had to go get them up out the cave. They was doing all that shit in the cave,
Anyway.
You had to go civilize them, They was doing a whole bunch of things up in there,
Well, what about the ones that to prove their worthiness, that they had to study from 35 to 55 years or some If I believe, yeah, and all the call themselves a Muslim sons, are they still a major factor in this as far as upholding the law?
Every Muslim his duty is to teach the uncivilized. So yeah.
Okay, so that means then that the only reason why I asked that question was, it's like the Abraham theory, and I keep going back to that. Look here, government. What if we can go get 10? What if we go down into the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, and we go down where all of the filthy birds in their cages, and we walk down, and we try to look amongst them to find some that's showing signs of civilization in order to spare the land.
Well, I mean, that's our duty, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the ultimate will of God. It's just part of our process of taking the wheel.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? God has his intentions. Yeah, and he don't fail at his intention.
That's right.
So, yeah, we supposed to be doing what we supposed to do. But at the same time, at some point, there won't even be a right to intercede. You won't be able to intercede. There won't be any intercession. I mean, you'll be on your own to figure it out. Because, it's going to be about that time.
So the God that made his mind up, huh?
Yeah. And, he won't even have no help there for you. If you ain't got it and you're not willing to get it, then that's where you're going to be at.
Yeah, because he did come forth with the knowledge in enough time to where everybody has heard the truth.
Plenty time. So right now, when people don't have access to this, don't have access to that, it's just what time it is. There will be no intercession. Like some people say, the revolution won't be televised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got plenty of time. We had plenty of time to listen to reason. That's not a big demand. It's not a big request on a person. Just listen to reason. Can we just reason for a minute? That's just so difficult for this rotten society of people. They won't even talk to you. They won't let you say nothing to them. You can't be corrected anymore. Then what good is it to even speak to you? Try to correct somebody nowadays and see what happens.
But really, they go smooth out.
Yeah, you got to be ready for the fight that's coming after you finish your sentence.
Motherfucker, I don't tell me shit. Motherfucker. Okay, all right.
A proud for nothing society.
Right.
Proud of.
That's wild, bro. Hey, but that's a fact, though. It is what it is, man. This is where we at, man. You know what I'm saying? It's astounding because we had so many great examples that came before us and who tried, bro. Who had vision and saw, hey, if we don't get this right, you know what I mean? This is where we headed. If we don't get this, But you know what, though? The opposition shouldn't have been so strong. I remember right here in Houston, for the Million Man March, Mr. Farrakhan came to TSU, and it hurt me to see pastors out there protesting the minister in the program, and they didn't have a program to put up beside his that was better.
Yeah.
And they killed. That's why it's so much crime, because you killed the aspirations and the hope of the youth, because they looked up to some of these pastors because they've been knowing them since they was young. And to see you go against somebody that they revered, it was like, they was like, you know what, man, I just gone back out in these streets, man. But they spiritual debt is on those preachers' hands.
They're exactly right. To hinder a person from their God, to hinder a person from wisdom, you got to pay for that shit. You know, that ain't for free.
Yeah.
I don't know what they thought they was going to get out of there, but you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
That don't come without a price.
Well, you know, they master put them up to it. But see, the time for forgiving them, because, you know, they was only doing what the master told them to do, that's dead.
Right. Now, who knows? There might be some of these pastors is going out here and getting caught up in the COVID and kicking the bucket.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're gonna pay for it. If you ain't repenting, if you ain't in a repentant stage in life, especially after seeing what's going on, I mean, how can, you know, Abraham, like you just brought up, man, look, go find 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go find one. Can you get one?
Just get one.
Oh, you couldn't get one, huh?
Okay.
Oh, okay, well, just like I say, step aside, son.
Yes, sir.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's right, man. And Abraham thought that God was unjust, though. He was like, "Come on, man, this can't be right. You gonna do what now? You can't tell me all them people out there ain't no good."
Right. And now, people are coming to grips with the fact that this country here is no good all over the planet, though, not just here in America.
Right.
Now, due to the internet and technology, the whole world knows this is a foul stage for every unclean and hateful bird. You know, so what can we do about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's and one thing that brings to note is, so the good Dr. Erickson, and I just want your opinion on this, was stating that if you social distance and you quarantine in place in your house, then you're not allowing your immune system to fight off or use its natural potential to fight off these viruses. He was saying that you should be out so your body can come in contact with the virus so it can defeat it. His theory was if you remove yourself out of the equation, then how can your immune system build itself up against the virus? That the more that you quarantine in, the more you are weakening your immune system. So when you finally go out amongst viruses and even these natural viruses, your immune system's so weak to where, you know, it'll take you out with ease. And then you have another theory, doctor saying no, quarantine in place, social distancing until the virus just dies out. It's similar to the herd immunity, to where the virus, once people catch the virus but didn't die, build up an antibody. So as so many people builds up that antibody, when the virus tries to enter into, after it can't enter into a certain amount of people, then it can't justify itself to exist, so it will naturally just die off.
Okay, so first of all, there's going to be more deaths. We're going to have more deaths. No way around it. And I say that because I'm going to start with the second one, the herd immunity. I believe, is it herd immunity where we have to quarantine and stay away from people and be in a house closed off,
right,
away from the sun and whatnot? Okay, so if the person hasn't been exposed, once they do come out, whenever they do come out, they're going to get exposed, and then whatever was going to happen before you got closed in is going to happen when you come out. The virus just ain't going to go away on its own. You either going to get it and you're immune and you get treated, or I mean, you're immune, or you get it and you get sick and you get treated. It's not just going to go away. It's going to make its round. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now so it's going to be this, you know, somebody or some people have just murdered a lot of people. Okay, so and then sad part about it is, on the side note, you got so many people getting rich off of other people's murder. But anyway, as far as the staying indoors, no. You need the vitamin D from the sun.
Right.
Vitamin D is a part of your chemical makeup. I hate to even use the word chemical makeup now.
Right.
It's a part of your biological makeup. Just as much as the earth is to the sun. And bringing about the seasons as it rotates and it grows vegetation. Your body is from the earth. Think about it.
Right.
If it doesn't get enough sun, then it's not going to be as strong as it should be.
Right.
Now, your immune system is fueled through the bone marrow. The sun, vitamin D, strengthens your bones. If you don't get enough sun, your bones get weak. So now your bones is leaking white blood cells and antigens that they shouldn't have. Next thing you know, you got an inflammatory problem. And you're waiting on a vaccine. But now you got all these different diseases occurring in your body just because you're not getting enough sun. Every disease, just like Dr. Sebi put it, is some sort of mucus.
Right.
Or buildup. Whether you're talking about cancer, lupus, arthritis, asthma, sinuses, it's all just an inflammatory disorder. Because your body is overreacting and overproducing antibodies through the antigens that's coming from your bone marrow. If it's not regulated properly, then you're going to come up with a disease because in that spot of in that inflamed spot, you're going to create some sort of a clot or a tumor that's going to prevent oxygen and nutrients to come to certain vital parts of your body or organs. If your heart ain't getting enough, you got a heart problem now. If your lungs ain't getting enough, now you got a lung problem, liver, so on and so forth. If you already got a problem, which they call quote unquote underlying condition, if you get exposed to coronavirus, COVID-19, or 5G, break up your oxygen, then that's what's going to go out first. Just like if you got a weak radiator in the car, you don't get enough tune-ups, first thing going to go out is the radiator. But we can't keep going back and forth to the doctor getting blood transfusions every 3 months like we get car tune-ups. So what we do is we eat properly and we stay active. And you can't stay away from the sun, and you can't stay inactive so long you think you're going to be healthy. I don't give a damn what kind of virus is going around. You dead any damn way. Virus or no virus.
Whoa. Facts, bro. Yeah, I appreciate your knowledge and wisdom and insight, especially in the bio medical knowledge that you were just delivering, because you put it in a way that we can understand, and you put it in such a way to where it laid on people's heart to where they just said to themselves, I got to get myself together. You know what I mean? I got to get myself together. Everybody probably ran the kitchen. I know y'all ran the kitchen and got y'all some water. Right?
Grab some orange juice while you're in there. Go and do it.
Yeah, go and do it. Get some orange water. Go outside and eat a handful of grass. Get some chlorophyll. Anything. Save yourself. Save yourself.
That's what it is. Save yourself.
Don't
wait on no chemicals.
Nah, devil try to kill you, man. The devil is trying to kill you.
With a syringe in his hand, and ain't nobody indicted his ass. And they ain't coming to save you. They just ready to fix you up.
Yeah, they fix you up so you can leak too much land when you got to go back in. They gonna charge you some more. They gonna feed off you till the day you die if you don't get yourself together.
They got a plan for you. They got a plan for you.
Never got a plan, and he on his job, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
But see, all we have to do is get on our job.
Right.
Because you know, the light dispels the darkness.
Right. But,
if you're in a... go ahead.
No, but I say, but Brother Mark, see, that's what this show is about. So people can, because a lot of people don't know what their job is. So we explain it to you what your job is, just in case you don't know what you're supposed to be doing and what are the capabilities that you have within yourself to accomplish what you need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You was born with it. It's just a matter of putting it out.
Yes, sir.
You know, hell.
Yes, sir.
If you made in the image and likeness of God, then they call it several things. Some call it use your powers. Some call it magic or the Magi's. Some call it wisdom, but you have that within you to say be, and it is.
Right.
And it's no trick and no magic wand you need in order to do it. You know, it came with you.
It came with you, and when you say be, that means you determine it will be. Once you determine that something is, you're gonna make it happen.
You're gonna make it happen. That's right. You are always. I mean, even when you were younger, you know, it's like you're entering into something for the first time, and you so afraid. Your butt got butterflies, and you're not sure you're gonna be able to accomplish it, and you nervous and down about to pass out. But then when you get in it and go through it, you like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Man, I don't know what the hell I was worried about. You know, that's how it go, man. Because victory was already in you before you even went up against the thing.
Already in you. We let fear and apprehension defeat us before we even get started, man. And it's sad. Because the victory is already there for you.
It's already there for you, man. And some people let fear choke them. And
they never even tried, bro.
And they ain't tried. And in that way, the devil in flesh wins again.
Devil in flesh wins again.
Wins again.
They get into it, and then somewhere along the way get a little bit uncomfortable, or something might hurt, or get a disappointment here, a setback there, and then forget it, you know.
Right, and it's supposed to be setbacks, though.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
That's part of the game. Part of the game.
That's how you master a thing. Why do you think it's taking them 18 months to come up with a chemical weapon to inject your arm with?
Right. What you say?
That trying shit.
Right. It take time to come up with that weapon there to put up in your head.
Yeah.
He just.
Every day. If they had it right now, they'd be knocking on your door with it.
He got to make sure it works.
They're failing every day.
That's right.
They come up with it.
That's right.
And goddamn, we got it.
We got it. They got to they got to make sure it work on you. Yeah. They don't want to spend all that time and put it in you, and it don't accomplish the said goal.
Yeah, they got to make sure you don't drop dead from it.
Right.
Because that's useless.
Yeah, but they
got to find a way to bury all these people, and they ain't got no slaves.
Yeah, they got no slaves. And man, I'm glad you brought that up. This on topic, but it's a little off topic though. Before we close, when you had all kind of slaves, you had all kind of slave masters. You had white slaves was owned by black masters, and you had black slaves, some was owned by white masters, right? And back in those times, it was socialism or social status with economics. Meaning, back in the day, if the term white meant you were the whole of gold, you had gold. Now, if you in the black, you making a profit, right? And so, back in those times when the rich sat at the table, it was our colors profiting because you had indentured servitude. So if you had land when they first came to the country, it wasn't really called slavery. You were an indentured servant, and when the queen emptied out the prisons, they came over here and worked 7 to 10 years. They needed people to work the crops and whatnot, and the whole nine, and so. But what happened was, Kazar, was it John Kazar and Anthony Johnson? Kazar tried to take Anthony Johnson to court, and he lost. And Anthony Johnson wanted John Kazar to be his slave for life, and the judge ruled on it and made that man a slave for life, and now the first black slave for life, owned by another black man. And the reason why I say that is because it wasn't about the color. It was about the mindset. When we adopted the mindset, that was the first case of when we fully adopted the mindset of the colonizer, or Yaqub's grafted devil. And then that mindset, it just matriculated on into time. Just multiplied itself. So when they tell that story, they say, well, yeah, that was the time when the slave became slave for life. But no, it also was the time when the black man fully enthralled himself into the devil's mindset. Something else, Brother Mark. Here we are today. And some still. So now we separated. Some of us fighting freedom, justice, and equality. Some of us fighting to be, like Steve Coakley would say, the boule, or fighting to be the pet of his slave master, so he can get crumbs from the slave master table.
Right.
And there we have
it. And we already got lessons in history that teaches us against the crumbs that fall from the slave master's table. When we look at the history of Jesus, when he dealt with Lazarus, Lazarus was so charmed by the rich man's wealth that he wouldn't pursue a paradise for himself. He remained a servant at his gate, even when the dogs chased him, even when he got balls on him from the slave master's abuse. We still remain at the gate of the rich man, the wealthy man, slave master.
Yeah, where we gonna go? What we gonna do?
Gotta learn.
Yeah. When it feel like, but there you go. If you don't have a certain amount of knowledge or wisdom, you will feel like all doors are closed unless the master open it. That's why,
right.
But that's one thing that made Trump and Gates so popular. You had rappers, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in there. Like, you saying the only way you're going to get in is if they open the door.
Yeah, just like Lazarus. We so charmed with Trump's wealth, so charmed with Bill Gates' wealth, we made him popular. Now, whatever they say is supposed to be right.
No.
We're going to go with it just because the rich man that we went and made famous said so.
Right. Facts. Brother, Mark, facts. Look, we not through. We're going to continue on with this topic on into next week, because root knowledge and we'll bring you from the past, present, on into the future. Right here on Verbal Prick Radio. Brother Marcus, man, I appreciate you for being on the show.
Thank you, brother.
And for all y'all that's listening, make sure y'all go check out on YouTube Blade Remix, and most of the scenes, the editing, the writing, directing was done by this brother right here, Marcus Muhd.
Yes, sir. And on SoundCloud, it's my most recent work also in music. I'm trying to release at least one track a week. So go check me out on SoundCloud, Marcus Muhd.
SoundCloud, Marcus Muhd. Make sure y'all check that out and listen to some music that's all original.
Yes, sir.
It's some original music. I mean, that's what we missing nowadays, is that originality, bruh. So y'all definitely go check out that original music on SoundCloud. Verbal Prick Radio. We out.